Good afternoon, class. After watching this video, you should have a better understanding as to how the main characters in The Great Gatsby and Macbeth compare and contrast, as well as to help develop a similar theme in both works of literature. This is important to understand because the overall theme depicted in this video, the corrupting nature of power and prestige, is not only important to understand but to have examples of in literature. I want you to be able to compare these works to your everyday life. At the end of this semester, you will write a paper analyzing, comparing, and contrasting two works of literature of your choice that we have read throughout the course of the semester. The video will not just give you an idea as to how Macbeth and The Great Gatsby compare. You also might be able to even expand on some ideas in this video and incorporate it into your paper at the end of the semester. Now, I will give you a brief short summary of the play Macbeth by Shakespeare and will describe some of Macbeth as well as Lady Macbeth's character traits. The play begins by Lady Macbeth convincing Macbeth to murder King Duncan so he can be the king and have all the power. Lady Macbeth also convinces Macbeth to murder Banquo as well as his son. Banquo's son, Fiancé, fortunately escapes. Macbeth becomes enraged and convinced that he must murder Fiancé in order to ensure that he will have the throne. Macbeth becomes haunted by a ghost and becomes a psychological wreck due to his unending quest for power. Eventually, Macbeth orders Macduff's wife and children to be murdered. Enraged with the murders of his family, Macduff eventually kills Macbeth. Throughout the majority of the play, Macbeth is uncertain as to what he should do, but is driven by the thought of power and Lady Macbeth's cruel and persuading nature. Lady Macbeth also develops into a psychological wreck and eventually ends up killing herself. Next, I will go into a brief summary of the novel The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald and describe the protagonists, Gatsby, as well as Daisy Buchanan's character traits. I will also explain how these character traits reveal the theme of this work. This novel is narrated by Nick Carraway, who lives in West Egg, right next to Gatsby, but has social connections in East Egg because of his cousin, Daisy Buchanan. East Egg is the richer, higher-class side compared to West Egg. Nick meets Gatsby at one of the elaborate parties he always throws to try and impress Daisy and show her how rich he is. Nick eventually gets Daisy and Gatsby to meet, making Tom jealous. Meanwhile, Tom is also having an affair with a woman named Myrtle Wilson. On a drive with Gatsby, Daisy runs over Myrtle. Gatsby takes the blame for Daisy's murder. Tom Buchanan tells George Wilson, Myrtle's husband, that Gatsby was the one that ran her over. George hunts down Gatsby and shoots him. The only person that knows the truth of the story is the narrator, Nick, who is the only person to show up at Gatsby's funeral. Daisy does not even show up and is not appreciative of how Gatsby risked his life for her. All Daisy cares about is her wealth and prestige and herself. Daisy and Tom are both extremely self-absorbed, and that is why they end up together. Even though Gatsby was a hopeless romantic, he was too good for Daisy. Tom and Daisy's self-centered and arrogant character traits reveal one of the major themes of this novel, the hollowness of the upper class and the corrupting nature of the desire for power and wealth. So, one may ask, what is the connection between these two works of literature? Well, Daisy Buchanan and Lady Macbeth show a lot of similar character traits. They both only care about power and wealth, and are very self-centered. This eventually leads to multiple deaths in both stories. Both characters use other people to protect themselves. Lady Macbeth persuades Macbeth to murder all of those innocent people in order to become king. Daisy Buchanan uses Gatsby to cover up the fact that she murdered Myrtle. Both characters are sneaky, self-absorbed, and arguably driven completely by the desire for power and wealth. So what about Gatsby and Macbeth? Do these two characters compare? Well, both are used by their lovers. They both are hopeful and somewhat naive and oblivious. Both protagonists become absorbed by their desire for wealth and prestige. Gatsby as well as Macbeth do crazy things in order to gain wealth and power. Okay, so we learned about the themes and character traits of protagonists in The Great Gatsby and Macbeth. So what? How does this relate to our own lives? One of the major lessons we should take from both of these novels is to try and put others before ourselves. We should not become too self-absorbed And we should remember, money and power are not everything. Thank you all, and have a great day.